let's go over the lesson 1-1 to 1-4 review. So this one I'm going to talk about 1-1. And again, here's a quick review as you can kind of see here. So if a line segment is dividing into parts, so you can see this one's divided into 2 parts, the length of the whole thing is the sum, which means add. It's the sum of the lengths of each individual part. Okay, congruent segments have the same length. So we talked about that a little bit today in class, but that just means if I have a segment and maybe they tell me this part and this part over here are congruent, those 2 parts are congruent, meaning equal in length. And a lot of times you'll see that symbol. Okay, now in the same way, angles can be divided into parts. So you can think about if I had an angle, like maybe a 90-degree angle, and somebody bisected it, cut it in half, then that tells me this would be 45, and that would be 45, and 45 plus 45 would be 90. That's what this is saying in words, that an angle could be divided in parts, and the measure of the whole angle would be the sum, or we can add the 2 together. Congruent angles have the same measure. So my example here, if this top angle here measures 45 and the bottom angle measures 45, that means they're congruent. That just means equal measurement. Okay, so now with those concepts, what kind of questions might we get? Well, this is a perfect question we might get on the test, and they've shown the work here. We could add the 2 segments, so this segment and this segment are different lengths. This one looks quite a bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and add the 2 segments to get the whole thing, and they told us the whole segment SU is 60. So that's why they set this up. 6x minus 25 plus 2x plus 20 should equal 60. So notice we'll combine these 2 terms, 6x and 2x makes 8x. That's where they got this. We'd combine negative 24 with positive 20 and get negative 4. That's where they got that. And 60 is the length of the whole thing, 60. Then we add 4 on both sides. Notice that's how they got this. And if we divide both sides by 8, we get x equals 8. Cool. Hopefully that feels pretty good. So let's give it a try. Find the length of LN. So they want the whole, they said the whole length is 45. So we don't have to find the whole length. They told us it's 45. And we know the expression for each of these lengths, so we should be able to just add them together. Okay, so 3x and x, that's 1x, right? 3x and 1x would be 4x. And we can add 2 and 19 to get 21. That should add to get 45. Okay, so if I divide by 4 on each side, I get x is 6. Now, if you're still not sure on the test, maybe not on your homework, but maybe if you practice on your homework, you'll do it on the test. If you plug 6 back in here, you can see if you got this right. So 3 times 6 plus 2 plus 1x, so we said x is 6, so 1 6 plus 19 should equal 45. And you can double check that in your calculator. So that'd be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 and 19 does get 45. Yep, so this should equal 45. Next one. Now they're saying, ooh, this one's a little harder, so maybe I would put the easier one on the test at this point, but we should be prepared to answer in the next week or two a harder one. What if this part was 27? Our S is 27. So now I'm setting up this as a formula. This segment, 12x minus 21, should equal 27. Okay. So this part should equal 27. Here's my equation. So I'm going to add 21 on both sides and get 12x equals 48. Okay, and if I divided 12 on both sides, I get 4. Ooh, but they don't want to know what x is. See how this is a little sneakier. So I found x is equal to 4. Now again, if I plug this back in, I get 48, and 48 minus 21 is 27. So x is definitely 4. But now I can answer the question, what would be the whole thing? So now I can actually answer that. 9, if x is 4, 9 times 4 is 36. And we know that's 27, so the whole thing should be 36 plus 27. Equals 13, carry the 1. That one's kind of hard. It's kind of a hard one. Probably won't give one that hard, but that's a good challenge question. Okay, now let's see. Find the measure of each angle here. So that's where our highlighters are going to come in. So EBG, EBG is 60. Okay, so this thing is 60. FBG so I gotta use a different color. FBG is 2 times the measurement of EBF. EBF. So they're saying whatever this one is, FBG, I don't know what it is, so I'm going to have to call that X. This one would be equal to 2 times that. So some students might actually call this one X, and this one would be then 2X. See how this one has to be twice as big. Okay, so FBG has to be 2 times as big, and that one's X. So I end up getting this one, X, plus the 2X. These two angles have to end up getting 60. So I have an equation there. Cool. Okay, so 2X plus X is 3X. And if I divide by 3 on both sides, X, my unknown angle, EBF, that's what I'm solving for. So once I solve for X, I'll have my answer. That should be 20. Now again, we can plug this back in. If I had an angle, this one's 20. This one's twice as big as that one, so that'd be 40. Would those add together to make 60? Yes, they do add together to make 60. So hopefully that makes sense. Cool. Okay, let's do another one. So this one's hard, probably not on the test, but good practice. ABE. ABE is 64. So I kind of drew on my picture already, so I'm going to redraw this. ABE is 64. And DBE, what's DBE? DBE. ABE is 64. What is DBE? So kind of drawing my picture, they're saying, what's this? DBE. Well, notice I have one, I call those necklaces. They're little arcs, right? I notice my whole angle, ABE, is cut into 2 equal parts. Do you notice that? Because of those 2 little necklaces. So what would these 2 numbers have to be if they're going to add up to 64? Hopefully in your brain you're thinking, oh, I think I'm going to divide these by 2, because if I have 2 angles that have to be the same number that have to add up to 64, that's kind of what bisecting an angle is. So DBE would have to be 32 degrees. Now, you can put your answer here. I also put over here a place to write your answer because I want to make sure everybody feels like they got a place to put their answer. And again, we could double check our answer. Let's go back. If these 2 angles are equal, So 32. And the other angle is the same number, so 32. Those should add together to give me 64, and they do. Awesome. Let's keep going. The next question says GBH. So GBH. Okay, so those have two necklaces on it. GBH is 28. So what that means is if there's two necklaces there and they're telling you that's 28, we now know that this measurement that also has two necklaces also has to be 28. That's what that symbol means. So now they want to know what would be the whole thing, GBC. Okay, so let's take a look. Two necklaces, two necklaces. If this measurement's 28 and that measurement's 28, what would be the whole angle? Looks like I'm just adding those two numbers together. 56. Cool. Now again, on the test, there would be less going on in the picture. They've just given us one picture so we could do a lot of different review questions and use the same question. So don't get too overwhelmed there. All right, now let's look at 14. Reasoning. Point K is located at 7 on a number line. Okay, so I'm probably going to draw a number line. And JK is equal to KL. If the coordinate of L is 23, what's the coordinate of J? Okay, so I think, again, the number line is going to make the most sense. So I have K is at 7, then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. L is at 23. Okay, so they're saying point K is located at 7. JK, so you don't know where J is, but they're saying JK, so it's probably somewhere in the middle here, right? JK is equal to KL. Well, KL is this. What's the coordinate of J? So it looks like I'm going to have to go over this way. So I'll just go over here, imaginary. Let's see if this makes sense. And you may have to sketch something and erase it because it's like, oh, I don't think that makes sense. This should make sense. So this, JK, is equal to KL. So I'm willing to bet, and again, this wouldn't be on the test. That's a good thinker question, though. I know the distance here is right minus left, absolute value. So 23 minus 7, I get 16. So this must be 16 that way. So 7 minus 16, I get -9. Thanks for joining us.